away with 3. It's what makes all of the difference there. Now they can start to extend their gap a little bit. VSM, good for 1 more. Lines up a second.
Oh, wow. Again and again.
If Desh has a rifle there, he plays through and he gets that trade, but with the AWP, doesn't fancy it. And it saves stations.
Counter-terrorists win.
I'm hearing a lot of ticks in the chat, which of course means that they're discussing their favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense.
Your favorite Pokemon is Gengar, isn't it?
No, actually, believe it or not. My girlfriend's is Gengar.
Oh, right. That's why I mixed it up. I see you guys as
called.
one unit, okay?
Yeah, the dog's called Gengar. I have my own favorite Pokemon. It's tattooed on my arm. It's really simple.
Of course, it's a Charmander. It's a Mudkip.
No.
It's a Trico.
Nope.
It's a Growl.
No.
Is it a Ditto?
It's a Ditto.
Yeah.
I think it kind of slaps as a tattoo as well. 'Cause, you know, like, you know, you always get told, or I was always told this, that, you know, as you change in life and, you know, your skin sags and things like that, then like the tattoo starts to sort of deform. And if you get a tattoo of a picture of anything, when you're older, it looks stupid. But like, Ditto's like a blob of jelly, you know? He can, like, if he deforms, that's all part of it. He's supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It just works.
Makes sense.
I know yours. But you're not going to
it?
get it tattooed. It's a Psyduck, bro.
I mean, it's hard to say because like I really do like Psyduck, but that's obviously because like I had a duck for like 8 years. But if I had to not be biased, then there's another one.
Okay.
Wanna take any stabs?
See, when you were guessing mine, you said Mudkip. I really like Mudkip. He's cool as fuck. I like Mudkip. I like Sobble a lot. Sobble's kind of poggers.
Is that one of the newer ones?
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, I mean, I'm a dinosaur, and I've been trying to like keep up with the new fangled ones, but...
I mean, he's not like new. He's like Paldea, but... Yeah,
he's like generation 6, 7?
I think so, yeah. 6, maybe.
Yeah, my knowledge kind of like starts dropping off heavy after generation 5.
No, generation 8, Jesus. He's a cool little guy.
I've seen him, but yeah, that's one of the starters. I remember.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. But yeah, but my favorite's Grovyle. Do you remember those like weird spin-off games they had?
Yeah.
Called Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah. I never played it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so Grovyle was like one of the I think the right word would be like deuteragonists because no, I don't know, it's hard to say because like he starts off as an antagonist and becomes a like he's been the good guy. Yeah, he's really cool.
Yeah, you know, I like me a Grovyle. That's like that's a really obscure favorite Pokemon. I've never. Everyone always says like one of the starters.
Yeah, people usually say like the smallest evolution, like maybe like a Trico, or like if they had to pick that lineage, right? They'd either say Trico or Sceptile, but like a middle evolution's like kind of a weird pick.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Wartortle's also kind of cool.
Yeah, Wartortle's cool.
Okay, back to Counter-Strike, all right?
But would you ever pick a Wartortle over a Squirtle? Surely not.
Tough choice.
Yeah.
Well, Flamengo sounds like a Pokemon name.
It does. But it's not, I don't think.
Sorry for the
Football club.
generational gap, folks. We're just trying to figure out an issue with some player's mouse, so we should be right underway. Also, it's like closing in on 5 a.m. where I live, so I'm now starting to access the deepest parts of my brain that have nothing to do with Counter-Strike.
Yeah, it happens.
Ooh, look at this. VSM, he's just been a rock for the team. He's been looking better. He's always been looking like he's smurfing on the server. And obviously this is against an eco, sure, but even against the big guns, he's been doing just fine. 15-5, 3 KD.
Yeah.
Flexing those biceps.
Yeah, very, very clear that he's just sort of going above and beyond at this point, isn't it? The single casualty against a round like this, absolutely fine. They could do with not losing anybody else, so yeah, they do start to realise maybe he's wrapped around beat. M4s will upgrade into the AKs, or probably carried across into the next, and 7-3. They've already got themselves a decent half. They've got a very good opportunity to make it a great one. And they've got the money in the bank to facilitate it as well, right? So if they win this round, Keed will have no real money for the last round of the half. They'll have 2,900 loss on top of nothing. So it'll be like Galils and Mac 10s. And Flamengo should be able to push themselves onto 9. If they lose this round, then they'll still have full money to have another crack at it in the next. So powerful positions to find themselves in. VSM should be able to catch a freebie on the cross as well. Turns away. Awkward moment. Good timing. Del Boney. Oh, wow, that is cruel. Thought he'd caught a bit of a break when the first molly didn't spread to him, but the second one does. He cooks alive. The Keed have got a bit of room and a man advantage.
We've rarely ever seen them in this position, but ooh, also a rare occurrence for VSM to be missing on this level. One of those rounds that ends up working out for Keed Stars, and they do a really excellent job at keeping the firepower up. Went out every individual duel, Denoco, all the way locked out, and this time they're actually taking the liberty to go forward and try and hunt him early. I'm not sure if that's the best idea, because if they do this, then they could feel a bit awkward in the next.
Ooh, nice shot. Okay.
I think Misfit should be able to provide the insurance policy here. He's got enough money to drop. That locks him out of a comfortable op, though, I think.
One still comes out.
Never mind, yeah. I underestimated how much money they'd have.
Yeah, sort of unfortunate on their part that that opportunity for the 9-3 doesn't materialize, because yeah, as I say, having won that round really would have broken the Keed money, and yeah, they'd have a really good shot, a very good half here. But yeah, let's have another stab at this. NWP, flashed off the angle, Misfit, that is huge! And the most important thing there, even though Misfit is going absolutely nuclear, he ends up with a 4K. It's that little buffer in the middle that VSM just buys in the space, make sure that the second man that's pushing up close to trade isn't able to do so. And it just gives Misfit that timing to keep popping shots, pulling back the bolt and taking another. And the 4-piece is absolutely crucial. A beautiful, rock-solid defense on the B site. And Flamengo are on to 8.
From their perspective, it barely ever looked like they even had a chance. VSM, all he had to do was find one kill. He did. And if you look at the scoreboard, it is lit up right now with VSM and Misfit. Nobody on Keed even managing to stumble onto double digits. And although Leo Dark had some really good impact in the couple of rounds that he contributed to, and in the grand scheme of things, he just didn't end up having the type of performance that we've come to expect from him. Can't even hate him, because everybody around him, they're also falling apart. Now, 4 rounds is still not a death sentence, and they get to play the CT side now, but the pistol round is pretty much a non-negotiable.
Yeah, lose this pistol round, and it really does feel like game over, doesn't it? Vinabeast has had a particularly poor map, hasn't he? But yeah, again, it's difficult to sort of cast shade on any particular individual when collectively, as a team, they've not really been up to par. VSM and Misfit have been too hot to handle. There's no doubt about that. $16 and 11 kills. Key side of Dust 2 as well. You know, if we were going into a side switch of a map like Nuke or Anubis, yeah, I'd start to fancy the chances of Keedstar. You say, okay, right, they're playing CT Nuke, or they're playing T-side Anubis or something. You know, I really feel like there's some wheels on this still. But Dust 2, for a team like Flamengo, I kind of weirdly favor them here on their T side. We saw Keeds CT half earlier on, and it was very poor. They were able to get off to a decent 4-round start, but after that, they gave us nothing. See if they can dig deep, find something here.
And after they really deep. Now the distraction coming through for Kutzmares to find the perfect timing, but Ninjas is gonna punish him as he's in the air. Sprawling on towards A. None of the duels working out save for one. Vinabeast is the only CT to go down, but Leo Dark is soon to follow. Delboni's got a great weapon for this. And VSM has been able to buy enough space. There's a moment in time where the two are separated as Delboni goes back to make sure there's no flank. And it's all about who cracks first. VSM, oh, he's isolated a duel. Now they're starting to come on to him. Dash, is he going to be able to make these duels work? No way, VSM! 4 points of health. All he's going to find is a close range headshot, and he gets the chance.
Ridiculous!
Flash down, and Flamengo again saved by VSM.
And it's unforgivable from Flash. We've got to see a replay of that, of how many shots were whiffed, right? We see this panic station hit where the knife comes out and Flash is, you know, spamming bullets into the back, but can't find the head. That was an absolute mess. We talked about the pistol being a non-negotiable. I almost jinxed it and said, you know, well, they've managed to pull it off, so there you go. That would have reflected badly, but it does anyway. VSM looking to add to his tally a little bit more. Eco is coming his way. They want to try and overwhelm him on the AK-47, and they do not stand a chance. Rolls a strike, ends up with 4. Last man spotted. It's not going to be the MAC-10s to find the kills. It'll be the rifles instead, but light work of a 10th round. I just can't get over that pistol round. That is so ridiculous.
That might also be the star that breaks Keeds back, right?
It's got to be, surely. If you were down in the dumps before that pistol round, afterwards, you know, takes a lot of resilience to even just stay in the game and, you know, stay focused. They're going to be just as aware as we are that that pistol round was a really important one to convert. MAC-10s able to trade evenly. So into the bonus round, and they're already doing good damage.
That's going to bait him out. Never mind.
That's confirmation. There's one on ramp.
Yeah, I mean, they knew for a while.
I'm not sure they were 100% on it, were they? Maybe PC Util came from that. Oh, Delboni's just spotted one.
Yep, freebie there. And now B-side Axe's game. Molotov is also just going to make it next to impossible. And I appreciate that Delboni has the awareness to cross right next to the smoke. Expecting a push through. Oh no, he's fading away. Yeah, that's just a tiny window of opportunity where he can be punished, but he can't. Flamengo now have control of the B-bomb site. two players getting ready for the retake. Both have switched over to the M4, so no map's going to be in play. There's a spot from VSM. Delboni tasked with the responsibility of holding the door. Great shot from VSM. A labored spray, bomb halfway takedown. And it's about finding Delboni. Leodark giving off footsteps, and Delboni will not be phased by it. So the interesting thing here is that, or I think the thing to note is that all the mistakes that Cade were making against Game Hunters, every time they pop up now, they're actually being punished because Flamengo is going to punish you so much more for gameplay inaccuracies. If you take a second more to back off after an op shot, you'll be caught with a Mac 10. You take a second to punish a player in a 3v1, VSM just pulls that crazy stuff off. Tiny margins that Flamengo can always come out on top.
Just rubbing salt in the wound, I think. Taking a round like that where you're winning with an effective bonus. You know, they were against the full buy. They ran it down with the Mac 10s. They took contact with an AWP on short and then just threw 2 SMGs at it and ended up trading 2 for 2. Incredible awareness towards the end as well with Delboni, the way he was sort of maneuvering around that CT smoke. Should be a bit of a freebie kill. Oh no, VSM misses the timing. Doesn't matter, he'll get himself into CT. He knows he's got a good position. He knows he's got strong mechanics to support him as well in the form of Delboni playing around this cloud. They should be aware that there's one within it. Leodark has managed to find first. In fact, Ninjas has ended up with another. If they don't clear this smoke, they could be in a bit of trouble. Good reaction shot. At the very least, they'll get the plant. Misfit's got to go big. Shotgun Sniper does that. Traded back. 3v2 retake. Ooh.
Tinoco knows that he can just shut them down right now. It's a 1v2. He might be able to isolate the 1v1s. He does. There's the first, and he's ready to connect on the second. The individual difference is just unmatched. Flamengo's the better team, and there is no doubt about it.
It's just so disjointed, and you can see this sort of level of deflation out of Cade as well. Now, I'll cut them a little bit of slack for the fact they didn't have util on the retake, yeah? I think it's super unforgivable in those situations when, like, someone's got a flashbang or something, they don't deploy it, but I think all of that util was then deployed by this point. Yeah, Vinabeast dies. No, actually, what am I talking about? Flash has got a flashbang. I'm thinking he doesn't have a flash. Flash has got a flashbang. There's no util. 1v3, they just run at them one by one. They feed the kills. It's just deflated, isn't it? This has just been terrible. A horrible map from Cade. We're questioning the Dust 2 pick beforehand. I'm questioning it even more now. Rinse and repeat on the B site. Same mistakes being made. Eventually the USP converts. The 1v1, Delboni. Close out the game. He'll do exactly that,
Again,
even with 13 HP.
Kind of looked like they might be able to delay the inevitable, right? For a moment when Delboni has 13 points of health, it looks like maybe Cade can at least have their head above the water for a couple more rounds. But no margins being allowed. Flamengo just looked like the better team. And we're going to quickly take a look at the bracket as well to see how everything unfolded. But yeah, man, like it was definitely a super one-sided game. Everything we thought that Game Hunters could have punished, Flamengo did actually punish on the server.
Yeah, they really did. They really did. That's how the bracket's shaping up then. 9Z and Flamengo making it through. And I'll be honest, after what we've seen today, they're by far and away the two deserving teams to make it there, right? I think sometimes we sort of go into these groups and there's a couple of sides that you feel deserve it, and there's a bit of heartbreak somewhere in the middle. But the reality is, you know, Keed made a lot of mistakes against Game Hunters. They still managed to scrap ahead. Game Hunters had their issues as well. And then, yeah, they looked pretty miserable against Flamengo, to be completely honest. They had a decent start to Mirage, but outside of that, that was a wildly disappointing series. And Flamengo just looked great. We saw lots of clutches, lots of great moments, a lot of the time sort of feeding off of the mistakes of Keed Stars, but ultimately just looking like the better team, weren't they? And yeah, I think them and 9Z going through is absolutely what's sort of supposed to happen here. I think these two teams have got a chance of actually sort of making some waves and making it further in the main tournament. So yeah, I'm excited to see how far they can really go.
Yeah, there's no doubt about the fact that the teams that end up winning are the ones that should have made it through, right? Like, there's no real upset that ends up happening. And I think the only real toss-up that could have happened is between, like, Game Hunters and Keed Stars. Either one of them could have made it through to Flamengo. Either one of them would have just gotten stomped, to be honest. And yeah, we end up seeing a pretty predictable outcome. That being said, though, this does, of course, mark the end of Group A, but there are a few more groups to go, so this isn't the end of the qualifiers for the Thunderpick World Championship in South America. Of course, we go on over to Group B. You can already see the teams that are coming through. It's going to be Red Canids and Bounty Hunters, so a little bit more well-known names towards the bottom side of that, and then SELVA versus I'm not even going to try and pronounce that against each other's. Very sparse bracket, but you'll see it be populated in the games tomorrow. Same time, same place, of course, but not the same faces, because it's not going to be Josh and I commentating. It should be our lovely colleagues B-Dog and Hayes to take you through that initial bout of action. But it's been a wonderful. Yes, there's been some competitive games. It's been some chaotic and messy games to round out Group A. Thank you all for tuning in. But for now, it's Josh and I waving goodbye.